In the very first video on YouTube, I talked about how to build a portfolio with no experience. In the second video, I showed you an example of my portfolio. In this particular episode, podcast episode, or podcast video, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening to me on Spotify, I am going to give you at least 20 things that you can add to your portfolio. You will not be confused, or you will not say, oh Balaji, I don't have anything to put into my portfolio, or I have no idea how to go about adding these things to my portfolio. Hey guys, welcome back to the Social Media Manager Bible podcast. My name is Bolaji and I am the social media ogre. My job or my duty on social media is to teach anyone that cares to listen how to use social media the right way, and also to change the narrative around social media management. The first thing I would say you can include in your portfolio as a new social media manager, a seasoned social media manager, is mockups of your favorite brand. And why exactly should you put mockups of your favorite brand in your portfolio? Because this would help demonstrate your ability to understand and visually interpret a brand's identity. Now, what type of mockups am I talking about? I mean, create like high quality mockups. You know what mockups are, right? If you don't know what mockups are, just go and look for the meaning or look for like a pictorial representation of what mockups are, and create high quality mockups for a brand you like. So for example, I would say I'm going to create high quality mockup for Red Bull. And why would I pick Red Bull? Because I like their colors, and the colors attract a whole lot of people. And if I create a mockup for Red Bull, everybody knows Red Bull. And once they see like, oh, a mock-up of Red Bull in my account, they won't ask me, oh, have you worked with Red Bull before? No, I was the one that created the mock-up, so I can put this there in my portfolio. Most times, a lot of people are not going to ask you if you've worked with this brand before or if you've worked with this brand before. If you've created a mock-up, put it in your portfolio. And most of what I'm going to be saying in this particular video or episode is about what you're going to, or it's about projects you're going to work on your own with your own discernment. You don't have to wait for someone to employ you or give you a task for you to create one. So when you create like a high quality mockup for a brand, and I'm using Red Bull as an example, I'm going to reflect, or the mockup is going to reflect the brand style, is going to reflect their voice, and I am also going to include in my portfolio the explanation of my design choices. If you're someone that is really good with designing, you want to create mock-up. The second thing that you can include in your portfolio is an example of a strategy that you have created for a brand or an industry. When you're creating a strategy for any brand or industry, make sure it is a brand or industry that you love or you are fascinated about. For someone like me, I'm not going to be creating a mock-up for a medical brand or a musical brand because I don't know so much about medicine or music. So I'm going to create for maybe food, fashion, and skincare because those are the things I am passionate about. So make sure that whatever brand you are creating for is one you are passionate about, and you want to outline in your strategy the objectives, the engagement tactics, who the target audience are, the expected outcomes of that particular strategy you are creating. You also want to use visuals like charts and graphs to support your strategy plan. This just makes whoever is reading your portfolio or looking at your portfolio to see that you are a strategic thinker, and they know, or they can see clearly your ability to tailor plans to specific industries. The third one would be creative projects from your university. Now, if you're someone that is studying marketing, or you're doing like a master's degree program in marketing or something related to social media, you want to include creative projects that actually showcases your foundational knowledge in your portfolio. In my last course in digital marketing, just before I started my dissertation, we were told to audit ourselves, audit our competitors, and I can include the assignment or the portfolio I created for myself in my portfolio because I even got like a distinction in that particular course. So it just shows that you have creative skills and you've also gotten foundational knowledge with your degree in the university. The next thing I would say when it comes to adding things to your portfolio is you can also add an example of marketing reports or plans. It can be market research, market analytics, competitor analytics, and so on and so forth. This would demonstrate your analytical skills and ability to derive insights from data to anyone who is reading your portfolio. You want to make sure that you include detailed reports with clear sections of methodology and findings and recommendations in your analytics report, and then explain them in your portfolio. What the data meant to you, what was the best performing content, what was the worst performing content, and so on and so forth. In another video, in another episode, we're going to be talking about how to create an analytics report. Just before I proceed, if you don't want to create a portfolio from scratch, I've created a portfolio template I'm selling for half price. It's literally half price off the original price. You can check it out in the description below on YouTube and also on any of the podcast platforms. I added extra pages that are actually not in my portfolio, and some of these pages are some of the pages I feel like I would switch to going forward in the future. So I'm literally giving out my portfolio secrets to you. Make sure to check it out. The next one I would say is an example of your design work. Maybe it is logos, maybe it is social media content, maybe it is website. If you're someone that is a pro Canva designer, you want to show off your skills in your portfolio, you can include screenshots of variety of designs, or you can import those variety of designs and you can give a brief explanation of the design process, the tools you use, and the rationale behind those designs. Pick your best designs and put your best foot forward. The next thing I would say you should include in your portfolio would be social media management results from handles you have managed in the past. And this is a good time to tell you guys and remind you guys that screenshots should be your best friend. Except if you've signed an NDA with a brand, you should be taking screenshots of the analytics of any account that you are managing. Posts that did well, posts that did not do well, take screenshots of it. Campaigns you ran, campaigns you were part of or you were on the team for, make sure you take screenshot, because these are the things that serve as concrete evidence in your portfolio. For your social media management results, you want to include these screenshots of these social media growth metrics, the analytics metrics, the engagement rate, the case studies of successful campaigns. I'm still going to talk about different ways you can do case studies, but if you want to know more about case studies, I did an example in a video. I showed you an example of case study, so I'm going to also link that in the description below on YouTube and also on the podcast platform, so make sure to check it out. Number 7 would be blog posts and articles. This is for people that know how to write well. If you are someone who loves writing, I would say write long captions, write LinkedIn post articles or blog posts and include that in your portfolio. You can share links, you can include the PDF. Most times I tell people use Canva for this. You can embed it and briefly explain the purpose of each of this piece of your portfolio in Canva. Number 8 would be examples of any campaigns you created. Like I said, take screenshots. If you did a campaign, you want to write about it and show proof in your portfolio. I'm not saying social media campaign, because campaigns don't stop on social media. There is traditional media, there is offline, there is online. Make sure you are documenting every part of any campaign process you are part of in a company, as a freelancer, even volunteer. The next one will be example of social media strategies for dream brands. I said you don't have to be working with a brand to actually create a social media strategy for them. All you have to do is pick a brand that you love, maybe Red Bull. I'm using Red Bull a lot in this particular scenario because they are a very visual brand and red is their main colors, because red will stand out, and it's easy for you to create a social media strategy for a brand where you can find all their brand properties online. Develop social media strategies for this brand and make sure that you include platform specific tactics, content ideas, and engagement plans of these strategies, and this will be your main talking point in your portfolio. Number 10 would be a practice revamp of an Instagram page. Now, for most people, this is the only thing that they bombard their portfolio with, and I don't want to see, when I'm looking at somebody's portfolio, that the only thing you know how to do is an Instagram revamp. Everybody knows how to do that, and most of them don't even actually know how to explain how this Instagram revamp works. Make sure you demonstrate your ability to improve and modernize a brand's social media. Yes, Instagram is good, but try doing a revamp for TikTok. Try doing a social media revamp for YouTube. It just shows that you are not stuck on Instagram alone. You can also do for Facebook. Number 10 would be an example of a mock-up blog site. Now, if you don't know where to find mock-up blog sites, WordPress exists, Wix exists. You can also use Substack. Make sure to start writing and take screenshots of that and attach the links in your portfolio. It just sells out to anyone who is looking or reading your portfolio that you actually know what it is that you are doing. The next one would be an example of an influencer marketing strategy for a specific niche. You don't have to be working in a company. Now that you don't have any brand or business that you're working with, if you don't have one, make sure to start working on things that would sell you as a social media manager or an influencer marketing manager. Create a strategy that shows your understanding of the influencer marketing strategies and niche targeting. In this influencer marketing strategy, you need to outline a strategy with objectives, influencer selection criteria, engagement tactics, and also measurement plan. Number 13 would be example of an Instagram highlight strategy. For someone like me, if anybody walks up to me or sends me a document with an Instagram strategy highlight, I would definitely know that the person knows what they're doing when it comes to platform specific strategy. Trust me, you need to have a real strategy, an Instagram highlight strategy, an Instagram stories strategy. That's why when a lot of people create strategies and they just put overall Instagram strategy and they are not breaking it down into the platform specific features, they actually don't know what they are doing. If you are someone who is very passionate about Instagram stories, I would say create an Instagram highlight strategy, and you can create samples of highlight covers, content ideas, titles, and explain how these highlights will enhance the brand's Instagram presence. The next one will be a competitors analysis or a competitors audit. Now, after doing my last course, I realized that what I was doing before wasn't an audit. I was literally just playing around, because the audit I did broke down a lot of things in a way I've never actually broken it down before. Now, this audit will help you exhibit your ability to analyze and benchmark competitors of any brand or business. So for your competitors audit, you are going to provide like a detailed audit that includes the competitors' strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and threats. You want to use visual comparisons like charts and graphs also, because it makes it more user-friendly and interactive. Number 15 would be example of an influencer event plan. If you're someone that is very passionate about influencer marketing, maybe you want to become an influencer yourself, but you don't have what it takes to be an aesthetic girly, you can be an influencer marketing manager. And I can tell you, influencer marketing managers make a whole lot of money also. The next one would be example of campaign proposals. Now, before you run a campaign, you make campaign proposals or you create campaign proposals. For this, I would say you want to build proposals that include a full background research, objectives, strategies, creative concepts, and also expected outcomes. This just shows your ability to pitch and propose comprehensive campaigns to brands. And if that's what a brand or a talent recruiter is looking for, trust me, you would get a job. You can create a mock-up, pick a brand, and just create an example of a campaign proposal. Number 17 would be SWOT analysis of a brand. Now, most times you include the SWOT analysis of a brand in your audit, but you can create a separate, if you don't want to do like a full-blown audit, you can create a SWOT analysis of any brand, and you can identify their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and their threats, and you provide a detailed SWOT analysis including the insights and actionable steps through SMART recommendation. Number 18 would be ideas on how a brand can improve its social media marketing strategy. Now, you don't have to create a full-blown social media strategy, but you can give ideas on how this particular brand you've picked can improve on their strategies, and then you present it in a way that anybody who's looking at it can understand the explanation and how whatever ideas or whatever things you've presented would enhance a brand's social media presence and perform. Number 19 would be creating content creation examples using Canva. If you're somebody that is a very, very good designer, you want to create variety of content types, flyers, infographics, social media posts, YouTube banners, with a brief explanation of the design process and the objectives. It's very important you include brief explanations of all these things you are putting in your portfolio. You don't just want to pick something and stick it into your portfolio. No, you want to include a brief explanation of why exactly you took this route in your portfolio. Last but not the least would be a list or suggestions of influencers that might work for a brand or a niche. Now, when I say suggestion, I don't mean you will just list out something. No, I mean you will create a document that provides a list of niche or industry influencers for a particular brand or business, with a rationale for each choice, why you selected these influencers, including their relevance, their engagement rates, and their audience demographic. It just shows that you can identify and evaluate potential for every brand or for that particular brand that you are talking about. And that's it. This is the third time I am filming this particular video. I feel like there's a lot of forces and elements that actually didn't want this video to come out or this episode to be live, but I'm like, no, you know what, you're not gonna get me. I'm gonna film and film and film again. The first time I filmed it, there was no audio. The second time it was glitching. That's why, if you notice, my hands are down because I was doing a whole lot of this and that and my hands were glitching, and I'm like, I'm not going to take that chance again. Let me put my hands down and my iPad down. That's what I was looking at down, by the way. With all these things, you cannot tell me as a social media manager, whether you're a new one or a seasoned one, that you actually don't know what to put in your portfolio. And that's it for today. If you want a portfolio template you don't want to create from scratch, like I said, check the description on the podcast platform or on YouTube. If you have any questions about portfolio, I would love to create extra videos on it. Make sure to drop your questions on Spotify or drop it on YouTube. I would definitely be there to answer your question, and if I need to create like another video for it, I would. And that's it for today's episode, guys. I hope you found it really, really helpful. I hope you enjoyed listening to this, watching this, as much as I enjoyed writing my script. I'll see you guys in the next episode.